GameStop is officially going to become a video game publisher. While they might not go and up and say that, they did create their own label, and that's the Gametrust Initiative. Now, they've already secured 3 development studios that they'll be publishing the games of. That being Tequila Works, Ready at Dawn, and Frozenbyte. Want to go and make sure that I've listed them all off. Out of the entire bunch, Rime, or R-I-M-E, whatever the fuck it's called, the game looks like a cross between Eco and The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker meshed together, and that game looks fucking awesome. And it's interesting to note that Sony ended up dropping the publishing rights to it. I can't think for the life of me why, because the game looks fucking amazing, but apparently GameStop is going to be the one picking it up. Now, you figure that Amazon has already done video game publishing, so GameStop doing this, again, not all that shocking. I think this is a lot better direction for them to go, just considering that, think about the insurmountable amount of games out there that are released digital only. And there's lots of folks out there that want physical versions of these games. I can tell you that there's been indie games out the ass that are a big, booming success, but somebody would like to be able to get that game physically. Now, sure, you've got something like Limited Run Games, for example, and they'll go and print physical versions of these digital games, but they do it in smaller volume. And GameStop has brick and mortar stores all over the entire fucking country, so they could go and sell this shit out of all of their stores. This shit makes a lot of sense. When I heard that they had secured some of the publishing rights to, what the fuck's that game called? Song of the Deep. I have to keep on looking over there. When they secured the rights to Song of the Deep, I was like, I wonder if they're going to be doing more of this. It would make sense. They've already nailed exclusive games down, and they themselves quietly re-release games, and I talked about this in the past. They re-released really rare games, and then were selling them as brand new, but they were having them printed and pressed themselves. Fatal Frame 2, Fatal Frame 3, Xenoblade Chronicles, Metroid Prime Trilogy, those are 4 games that they themselves had put out brand new copies of, despite the fact that they had already ceased being printed altogether, and they were rare and going for an exorbitant amount of cash just because the collector's market fucking rose up and just boom, blew that shit up. So they came in and did that because the new price is way lower than the used price, so this was one of their shady bullshit tactics. This, on the other hand, I can actually get behind. You figured there's, and one of the nice things, and they went out of their way to go and say this, just so that, I guess, to give people peace of mind. They have no say-so whatsoever at all, no influence at all about the development of any of these video games. So they do not come in and they don't go and change this or ask to have this to be altered or this to be included or this to be excluded. So nothing like that. And that's how publishers should be, in my opinion. Granted, I understand, they're the fucking money cock of the video game development studio, but there comes a point in time that you end up, like, just fucking with the original vision of it, just because you want to be foolhardy and try to go and take more cash out of the pockets of gamers out there. And that shit's fucking ridiculous. I hate that shit so damn much. But I'm glad to see that some of these extremely talented studios are kind of getting a chance at doing this when other studios won't go and pick them up. Whether they'll be successful or not remains to be seen, but I can almost guarantee that they're going to be pushing these games hard as fuck. So if you got really annoyed with the whole power-up cards thing and like, you know, sign up for Game Informer and all this shit, yeah, they're going to be going and doing this too. But if they're good games, I don't really mind them going and pandering to that, because at least it's a fucking video game, something I can pick up and play, and something I actually want to play. So those 3 studios have multiple games already out and multiple games in development right now. So I can imagine all of them are gonna crop up at some point or another unless they, again, get picked up by a bigger publisher, but it doesn't seem like it, which is the main reason why they're currently with the fucking Gametrust Initiative through GameStop, so it all makes sense. But it makes me curious, are they just going to go full-blown publisher? Are they going to start picking up a whole lot of other shit because they can hear the demand out there? If anything, I've wanted companies to go and pick up those niche games. All those games out there that are like Japan only. I've always wanted other publishers to swoop in. I'm like, no, we'll go and pick it up because we can see that there's this echo chamber of people just saying, we want this game, we want this game, we want this game, we want this game. Where the fuck is this game at? Oh, it is still over there. Fuck me running. Annoying as shit, right? So GameStop doing this though, the downside is that Gametrust Initiative, despite it having its own label, its own name, and being ran independently from GameStop themselves, still is going to have that correlation between the two. So anybody that really hates GameStop might end up giving this a sideways glance and not wanting to go entrust it fully just because of past bullshit with its obvious bigger sibling. So all this being under one umbrella, it's a double-edged sword, unfortunately, just because of past bullshit. But if they can go and redeem themselves by going and doing shit like this, that might help. That's the truth. It might help. Who the fuck knows? Either way, thoughts and feelings about this? GameStop being a publisher, the whole Gametrust Initiative. What do you think of the 3 studios that were announced that they picked up first? And there's probably going to be more that are announced, assuming that this does well. And if that is the case, would we see other things like Amazon, again, they're already a publisher, will they go and start picking up more things outside of just like PC and mobile games? Because that's all that they've kind of focused on, I've noticed. So will they start working with more like bigger budget titles? And I know that there's like much more risk involved, but they're a big fucking company. It does make sense. And lots of people go and buy shit from them. Well, Best Buy, Walmart, and other shit. It sounds silly, but it's possible. So who the fuck knows? Either way, this is AlphaOmegaSin, as always, nerds, nerdettes, and gamers game the fuck on.